Hi everyone, it's Nadia from YARNutopia. Today we're making these Festive Pom boot cuffs. These are a lot of fun to make and they're such a quick project for anybody who loves to wear boots on your Christmas list this year. So get your crochet hook and yarn and we can get started on this. So I'll get into the frequently asked questions, the products you're going to need, and then we'll get into making these. So these boot cuffs are so fabulous. We're working with front post and back post double crochets. We're working with chains, we're making shell stitches as well, making this interesting design, and we're making puffs, and it's just really fast and easy. We're working these boot cuffs in a long piece like this in rounds. We're working in rounds, and then you can either make it like this where you have these on and then you fold them down over your boot. Okay, so it looks like socks over your boot. It looks really cool. Or you can flip these over. Yeah, they're versatile like that. And you can wear them straight up like this. And then have your bow nice and lovely like that. Okay, so these can be worn two different ways. How lovely is that? So these are two of them, but I am going to show you how to make just one of them on camera, and then you just have to rewind this to make the other one. So it's a very, very simple pattern though. And in this project, we are using two types of yarn. For the main color, I used practically a full skein of this yarn. You can see I only have this much left, so basically just scraps left of my main color, which is green and silver Red Heart Yarns Holiday. So you can see the label here. This is 215 yards, so probably a little less than 200 yards is needed in this project. And this is the label. It's a worsted weight yarn. You can use a double knitting yarn or even an Aran yarn. And this is an acrylic metallic blend, but you can use any type of yarn. You can use acrylic, polyester, a cotton yarn, any type of yarn really for your main color. And then for the second color, for the poms and the bow, we are using Red Heart with Love metallic yarn. And that's just scrap amounts that we're going to need to make the poms and the bows today. So this is a 200-yard ball of yarn, but you're not going to need that much at all. And this is Red Heart with Love metallic in white. So I'm using the white, and it's so sparkly and just so much fun to use, and it's so soft. These are such beautiful yarns. Also, we are crocheting this with an an I hook. I'm so used to saying H hook because we did the 365 days of granny squares this year, and I'm so used to saying we're making this with an H hook, but this is an I hook. You could make this with an H hook if you want. That's 5mm, but we're using the I hook to demonstrate this one today, which is 5.5mm, so make sure you have that. We're also going to need a scissors and a yarn needle to cut our yarn, sew in our ends, sew on the bow, all that stuff. And then you can see here I have two pieces of cardboard that are cut out like this. These are the pieces I'm using to make the pom-poms. You're going to have to make 4 poms today, so this is a nice little easy, cheap way to make a pom-pom. Unless you have a legit pom maker, you are very lucky and you can make a pom using your pom maker. But I just cut 2 pieces of cardboard, put them together, and I wrap and cut it around, and I show you how to do that later in this tutorial. So those are all the supplies we need. Now, for frequently asked questions, how do you make this bigger? My calf is bigger, my calf is smaller. You want to make these different sizes? So here we go. This is how long we're making these. You can make these as long as you want. This is a repeat pattern. So from rows 2 through 16 on here, it's a repeat until you get to the very last row. And these measured out to be about 17 centimeters, which is about 6.5 inches long. Okay, and we are folding these under, so we're putting these on and then folding these over our boots like this, so they'll be about 3.5 inches tall on the top of the boot, showing over the boot, so that's about 9.5 centimeters. Okay, so that's how big these ones are that I'm demonstrating. And as per width, let's measure this wide here. This measures, let's see here, 16, 17, so about 34 centimeters around. Okay, so that's about 12 inches around. That's a 12-inch calf, and that's a pretty standard size calf. These are quite stretchy though. I mean, they could probably stretch up to a 14-inch calf muscle, and that would totally work on the lower part of your leg. But if you have bigger calves, you can chain an even number in your beginning, okay? This is, you know, a multiple of 2, basically. This whole pattern is a multiple of 2, so just chain an even number in your starting chain, and you can make these as big as you need to. So it's a very versatile pattern for different sizes that you can make, but the 12 to 14-inch calf is, you know, a standard size adult woman calf, and these will fit me. So I am going to, you know, enjoy these out in the snow. You can be very festive in the snow and have a big snowball fight with your nice cute little pom-poms. So before we begin though, I want to mention there are links in the description of this video, so you'll find the link to this written pattern on my website, YARNutopia.com. If you do not find that in the description of this video, you can go to YARNutopia.com. On the right hand side there's a search bar, and you can type Festive Pom boot cuffs, or just type boot cuffs, and you can search that on my website. That'll come up. Also, there's a link to my Facebook and Instagram, and if you make these, share your photos rocking those boots. I want to see them on Facebook and Instagram, so make sure you hashtag YARNutopia and share them on the wall on Facebook as well. And then I have to say a big thank you to my dad, Fuad, Azmat, for taking the time to make these Festive Pom boot cuffs with us. He's our videographer, editor, and the photographer for all of our videos at YARNutopia, so make sure you subscribe to our channel on YouTube, and if you could support YARNutopia, that would be greatly appreciated this year. If you hit the eye in the corner of your video, just hover your mouse over the video, or tap your video if you're watching this on a tablet, a touch screen. There should be an eye in the corner of your video. You can click that and support YARNutopia so we can continue to bring you these fabulous crochet tutorials that you love so much. And I love crocheting with you and sharing all these creations. So thanks for watching, and now let's get started and make the Festive Pom boot cuffs. Let's start out with a slip knot, so put your short end over your long end, then fold that down, and then pull that through, and pull that short end tight, and there's a slip knot. Insert your hook, and we can start. So now we're going to start by chaining 36, but you can chain 36, or you can chain any amount, any even number that will fit around your calf muscle. So yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, here's 3, 4, 5. I won't make you watch me do all 36 chains, so I'm just going to chain 36. You can chain any even number, and then I will meet you up for round 1. Alright, when you chain 36, this is what your chain should look like. Now, without twisting this, you want to make sure that it's not twisted. We are going to bring this beginning over to the hook like this, okay? And we are going to work in that first chain. We're going to slip stitch into that first chain. So go into there, then yarn over and pull through that loop on your hook, just like that. So now we've made a big ring, and this should fit around your calf, okay? And this is going to, we're going to be working from the bottom up of this boot cuff here. And what we need to do for round 1 is chain up 2, 1 and 2, but this chain up 2 does not count as anything, okay? It's just getting us to the height we need, and it doesn't count as anything here and throughout the whole pattern. So we are still going to work a stitch in this first chain, even though we slip stitched and chained up 2 in it. We are going to work a double crochet into it. So yarn over, go into that same chain that we just slip stitched into, then yarn over and pull through, then yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through 2 more loops. Okay, just like that. That is a double crochet. Then we are going to double crochet into each chain across or around this big ring here. So yarn over, go into the very next chain. It is right here. Okay, with this sparkly yarn, it might be a little difficult to see your chains, but just make sure you have 36 double crochets at the end of this round. Okay, so yarn over, go into the next chain, And you can see, I'm not sure if you can see, but I look at my chain like this, I'm actually turning it toward me and working in the back ridges of my chain here. Okay, so that's where I'm working. So yarn over, go into this next chain, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Yarn over, go into the next chain, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Okay, so we're just going to double crochet into each chain around this ring, just like this. Okay, very simple. So you're going to have 36 stitches, or the same amount of stitches as your beginning chain. So if you chained 40, you're going to have 40 double crochets at the end of round 1. If you chained less, like 30, you're going to have 30 double crochets at the end of round 1. So just continue doing that, and then I'll meet you up for round 2. Alright, just finished my last double crochet there, so now I have 36 double crochets on round 1. This is what it should look like. Make sure not to twist anything. Make sure everything is nice and neat. And then we are going to go on to round 2. So what we need to do is to close this round, we're not going to slip stitch to this chain up 2 here. You can see chain 1, chain 2, well, hopefully, there we go. Chain 1 and chain 2 right there. We're not going to slip stitch to that. We're going to go into this first double crochet stitch right in here and go into the stitch itself, and then yarn over and pull through and pull through. Okay, and that's round 1. So again, that chain up 2 doesn't count as anything, so pretend it's not there. Then we're going to go on to round 2, and now round 2 and round 2 through 16 are actually exactly the same. We are going to chain up 2. Okay, we're going to, on this first stitch right here, we are going to make a front post double crochet. So yarn over, go on this side of the double crochet. Okay, don't work around anything about this chain up 2. Again, pretend it's not there. Go on this side of the double crochet around it, okay, just like that, up around the post, then yarn over and pull through, then yarn over and pull through 2 loops on your hook, and then yarn over and pull through those other 2 loops on your hook. Okay, that's a front post double crochet. Now in the next stitch, we are going to put a back post double crochet. So yarn over, go from behind your work around that stitch, okay, back to the back, just like that. Then yarn over and pull through. Okay, then yarn over and pull through 2 of your loops, and then yarn over and pull through those other 2 loops. That's a back post double crochet. So now we're going to alternate these 2 stitches on each stitch around. So yarn over, go do a front post double crochet around this next one here. So go on this side of it from the front, and then back around it to the front. Then yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. That's a front post double crochet. Then we're going to back post double crochet on this very next stitch here. So yarn over, go from the back of your work around that stitch, then yarn over and pull through, then yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Okay, so that's a back post double crochet. So like I said, repeat, just alternating the front post double crochet and the back post double crochet on each stitch around. Again, you'll have 36 stitches around unless you chained more or less in the beginning of this project, but I'm going to have 36 stitches around, and then I'll meet you up for round 3. Alright, you want to end this round with a back post double crochet on your last stitch of this round, and then going on to round 3, we are going to slip stitch to the first front post double crochet. Okay, so again, pretend that chain up 2 doesn't exist. Go into the front post double crochet, yarn over, pull through, and then chain up 2. 1 and 2. And now rounds 3 through 16 are our repeat pattern. We are going to front post double crochet around the front post double crochets, and we are going to back post double crochet around the back post double crochets of each stitch. So just go on the front post. Since this is a front post double crochet, I'm going to front post double crochet around it. And then on the next stitch is a back post double crochet, so I'm going to back post double crochet around it. Okay, and we're just going to do that, alternating these 2 stitches on each row until we make this as long as we want it to be. So that's up to you then. So I'm going to do rounds 3 through 16 off camera. Well, I'm on round 3 right now, but I'll do the rest of these off camera because it's exactly the same. Just slip stitch to the first front post double crochet, then chain up 2, and then go on to making your front and back post stitches, just alternating the 2 exactly like this. And I'm going to do that for rounds 3 through 16. You can do more rounds if you want to. You can make these as long as you want. But I am going to end on round 16, and then I'll meet you up for round 17, or our last round. Alright, so I just finished row 16, or round 16 here. This is what your piece should look like, a little bit like this. So now we can go on to our last round. So if you wanted to, you can make this longer. You can make it into like a leg warmer style and make it much, much longer. But you can see that's a nice tube here that'll fit around the leg very nicely, and it's quite stretchy too, which is really nice to fit around the shape of the calf and everything. So what we're going to do for our very last round, okay, we just slip stitched into this front post double crochet here. We are going to chain 1, and then we're going to turn our work so that we're looking at the inside of our boot cuff, okay? And what we're going to do now is actually our front post stitches look like they're back post stitches now because we just turned our work around. So actually that looks like a back post double crochet there that we just slip stitched into right here. We are going to work a single crochet where we slip stitched. So go back into that stitch, okay, that is our front post double crochet, but now it looks like a back post stitch. We're going to go in and then yarn over and pull through. So now we have 2 loops on the hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through both of those loops, just like that. So that's a single crochet. Now we're going to skip this next stitch right here. So now we're going to work around this way. And we are going to go into this stitch that looks like a back post double crochet here, and we're going to make a shell stitch in there. So yarn over, go into that stitch right there, okay, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So that's a regular double crochet, and we are going to put 5 in that same stitch. So that was 1. So yarn over again, go in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. That's 2. This is 3. Here's 4 and 5. All right, then what we're going to do is skip this stitch right here and go into this next stitch right here for a single crochet. So go in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's what our pattern is for this round. We're going to skip 1 and we're going to shell in the next, which is 5 double crochets in that stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then skip 1 stitch and single crochet into the next stitch. Then skip 1 stitch and shell in the next stitch. So just continue working that sequence all the way around this last round of our boot cuff here, and then I'll meet you up when we're about to fasten this off. Alright, you want to end this round with a shell, and then we're going to skip this last stitch here, and we're going to slip stitch to our first single crochet of this round. So go into the single crochet, yarn over, pull through and pull tight, and then we're going to fasten off. So chain 1 and cut your yarn, and then continue to pull that all the way through, and then pull that tight, and that is fastened off. So now we just need to take our yarn needle and sew in our ends. We have a couple loose ends here. So we are going to take our yarn needle and just go underneath some of these stitches, just like so. Sew them in and just hide them. Okay, and then when you're satisfied with sewing them in, you can cut that and stretch it out to make sure that it is completely hidden. And then I have one more straggler right here where we started our boot cuff. Okay, at the bottom of it. So I'm just going to, again, sew this in underneath the stitches. And then what we need to do is make the bow and the pom embellishment. So, you know, you could be done at this point and just have a nice plain design, a plain boot cuff, no embellishments on it. It's a nice sparkly piece already. So what you need to do, you're looking at it like this. We need to fold this down and you have a nice boot cuff. So this part, this inside part will go into the boot. So you're going to slide the boot over this part, and then you're going to fold this part over the boot. Okay, and you can see that in the photos on my blog of me wearing these boot cuffs. So this is how it's going to look. They're so fabulous. So you could be done at this point, but I want to add a bow with some poms on it. So what we actually need to do is find where our spot was where we chained up and everything, our seam. You can't really tell, but if you stretch this apart, you can kind of see this is where we seamed. Our chain up twos are over here. Okay, so that is going to be on the inside of the leg. Okay, so our bow is going to be on the opposite side, and it's going to be on the folded inside part. So we're going to fold this down just like this. And if you want to, you can mark the spot where we are going to put our bow about right here. Okay, so I'm just going to mark that. That's like a nice spot for it. So then I'm going to set this aside and I'm going to grab my white yarn and then we'll go on to making a simple bow. Alright, to make the bow, we are going to use the white metallic-y yarn, and we are going to start off with a slip knot. So put your short end over your long end, then fold this down, and then pull that through and pull tight. Insert your hook. We're still using that same eye hook, and we are going to chain 40. So yarn over and pull through. 1, yarn over, pull through. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm not going to count to 40. So just chain 40 and then I'll meet you up for the next step. Alright, when you chain 40, we are going to fasten this off. So I'm going to just chain an extra 1. So we have 41. And I need to grab my scissors and we're going to cut this yarn. And then we're going to continue to pull that through and then pull that really tight. Okay? And that ties off that end. So now you just have a really long chain that looks like this. It's not too long, just kind of like that. So now what we're going to do is tie that into a bow. So what I usually do is take my piece, make sure the bottoms are even, like this, and we're going to push this middle down like this so you can see two bow-like things right here. Okay, and actually we're going to make it smaller. So we're going to come in like this. Okay, and then we're going to take those two and we're going to cross them over and then pull this one back and then underneath into that loop down here. Okay, kind of like bunny ears, and pull through. Okay, and then you can shape this bow however you want it to look. And tighten it, just like that. Lovely. Super simple too. So now if you want to, you can pull it tight and secure it. Okay, and then we're going to tie this or sew this to our piece. So now grab your boot cuff here, where you marked it right here. You want to mark it, when you make both, make sure to mark like the row that you do it on, so then each boot cuff is exactly the same. That's what I'm trying to say. So now I'm going to set that there. Okay, remove that marker. Okay, and then I'm going to take yarn from the ball of yarn and grab my yarn needle and darn my needle with that yarn. Okay, and if you want to, you can unfold this so that you don't sew this whole boot cuff closed. You can insert your hand into this boot cuff and kind of hold your thumb down on the bow like that. Take your yarned needle, go into the boot cuff where your bow is, okay, go out and into the bow tie part right there, pull that through, then go down back into it, okay, back into the boot cuff as well. Okay. Then what we're going to do is tie this off. Let me just cut my yarn here. Okay, so that's how it's going to look. So now what we're going to do is fold this inside out like this and tie these two pieces in a knot. So like that. And again. And you can do twice or 3 times, okay? Then what we're going to do is also on the inside here, I'm going to take this strand and kind of sew down the bow part, the loopy bow part. If you can see here, we want it to keep its shape. So I am just going to kind of hold that down right there. I'm going to go into this piece here. You can kind of just watch what I'm doing because it's kind of hard to really explain without showing you. So I'm just going underneath some of these stitches to kind of hide this end, and then I'm going through the boot cuff and through this loop here, okay, just right at the top there, right there, okay, and then I'm just going to go out and then just back in to the boot cuff, okay, and that's all I'm going to do, okay, that's it, and then I'm going to just sew this off, like tie this off here. So to tie this off, I'm just going to go underneath a couple stitches, or a stitch, putting my thumb in that loop and then going back around into that loop and tying that knot. And then to sew in this end, we're just going to go underneath some stitches back and forth. Okay, and then cut any extra and do the same thing for the straggler as well. So I'm just going to show you again here. Yarn the needle with this straggler. Go into the boot cuff, and then you can see the loop. You can position the loop where you want it to go, right about here, and then insert your hook, or I'm sorry, not your hook, your needle into the boot cuff and out the bow right there. Okay, and then just go back into the boot cuff. But make sure not to be sewing your boot cuff closed, so make sure your hand is in there to kind of guide that. Okay, and then we can tie this off too. So just go underneath some stitches. This one's getting kind of short here. And then go back around underneath and pull through. Okay, and then sew in that end. Just like that. Cut any extra. Okay, now this is what it should look like. Okay, so I just folded that back down in there. Okay, So that's what it should look like now. So now we're going to make 2 puff balls and put them on the ends of this. So don't tie these off, these little stragglers here. Don't tie these off yet. We're going to tie them with the puff balls. So I'm going to set this aside and we're going to grab those cardboards. If you have an actual pom maker, you might want to grab that now. But I'm just going to use these 2 pieces of cardboard, just putting them on top of each other like this and grabbing my white yarn. And then I'm going to just continue to wrap this. So we're going to go from the top here like this. Okay, I'm just going to hold this like this. You can actually hold it on the back side if you want to, like that. And just start wrapping around your cardboard. And these poms are going to be smaller than a normal pom. So if you want to just do 1 layer of these strands, just keep wrapping and wrapping around like this. If you have an actual pom maker, just make an extra small pom, or just make your pom like this, like me. I'm just going to wrap 1 strand, a very thin layer of these wraps here all the way around this piece. And then when I wrap all the pieces that I need, all the yarn that I need, then I'll meet you up and we'll cut this and I'll show you how to attach the pom. Alright, so I wrapped as much as I needed to here. So now what I'm going to do is set this down on a flat surface, grab my scissors, cut this yarn here. Okay, and then what we're going to do is put between this side here, we want to hold this down here, and then what we need to do is between these 2 cardboards on this side, we are going to attach this yarn in between there. We're just going to slide it through there. Okay, and 1 side long, okay, 1 side is attached to the ball, okay, and then, like I said, they'll hold this down. So it's nice to just use your hand on this piece just like this to kind of guide yourself. And we're not going to snip this piece. This piece is going to be guided through, but we're going to take our scissors and cut between the 2 pieces of cardboard and cut your strands of yarn. But you want to lay it flat on a surface. If you're using, this like handmade pom maker, okay. Just like this. Okay, so then just continue cutting on this edge all the way around here. Be careful with your scissors and not to cut yourself, just because, learning from experience, I don't know if you've seen my other videos, there's no bloodbath or anything, but I have had my fingers in the way before, and I have really not been as careful. So just be extra careful. Just a little disclaimer here. Don't get too reckless with your scissors. And just cut that pom. Make sure not to cut that super long strand that's supposed to be guided through. You can see here I'm guiding it through all the way around. That's what's going to be used to tie your pom off, so that's why we're guiding it around. And you know, I've learned how to do this through YouTube, actually, through other YouTube videos. So if you want to, there are YouTube videos out there to show you how to make a pom. Okay, so just continue wrapping this all the way around there. Cut your yarn quite long, so now you have something that looks like this. Okay, so now what we're going to do is tie these 2 long strands together in between the cardboards. So just go like this and tie a knot, just a 1-time knot like this. Okay, and then pull it really extremely tight, but don't pull too tight to break your yarn. Just pull tight enough. Okay, then what I like to do is flip this over, okay, and then tie a knot on the opposite end, on the opposite side. So 1-time knot here, okay, and that's between the 2 pieces of cardboard. Then we're going to tie another knot on the same side. Okay, and now at this point it's secure and you can tie 2 or 3 knots just like that. Once you're satisfied with how many knots you've tied, you can pull this apart like this and like this. So now your piece should look like this. And now we are going to pull these two strands, these long strands together like this. And then we are going to kind of palm this out like that. But now you can see there's some long, some short, and it's really, really terrible. So what we need to do is grab our scissors, and we're going to do some landscaping. So what I like to do is grab my palm from the bottom and kind of just slide up to kind of like squish all of this together, and you can see the uneven pieces really easily. So we're just going to kind of like trimming the trees in your yard in the summertime. Kind of just landscaping here to make them all even. And it's nice to, actually, you should probably do this over a trash can because you're going to have a lot of little scraps. But again, be very, very careful where you snip. You don't want to snip your fingers or anything. Okay, and we just want to make sure that it's nice and fluffy and cute. Give it a little haircut. Shake it off. Whew. Okay, and then you can kind of space it out, and you can see here, get this out of the way. Okay, then we're going to just trim it down to being the size we want it to be. So you can trim it down to being a super tiny pom, or you can make them, you know, the same, keep them the size and have them to be a little bit larger. I'm going to keep them like a medium size here, not too small. Still want that pronounced look. Got to make a statement. So there we go. Alright, I'm pretty satisfied. I think if I cut any more, I'm going to regret it. As I'm cutting more. Okay. There we go. Alright, so shake off any extra, any little bits. There we go. How cute is that? So now I gotta sweep up all the fiber that we just cut. Get that out of the way. Grab your boot cuff. Okay, you're gonna have to make another one of these, so make 2 of these exactly the same. And then what we're going to do is take one of those long strands. Okay, so this pom is on 2 strands here, like this. So take one of those long strands and yarn your needle with it. Okay. And then we're going to take this bow here, and at the bottom of this bow, you can see these chains, we're just going to weave this through the first and second chain. Okay, just like this. Okay, and then pull it tight. And then we're going to tie it in a knot with our other strand. Okay, the strand that's attached to the pom-pom. Okay, not that other strand that's at the bottom of that bow. Okay, we're just going to tie it to the other strand of the pom-pom, right here. I'm just tying it in a knot, okay? You can tie it in a double or triple knot, or however you feel comfortable tying it, just like so. And then you can see I have 3 strands here. I grabbed the strand that was attached to the bottom of the bow, and then the 2 strands on the puff ball, okay? We're going to cut those as tall as the ones that are on the puff ball. So you can kind of move these up to see what the measurement is like. Be careful, again, with trimming these, and then you can cut that. And that's as short as the puff ball ones. And there you have it. It's hidden in there. Okay? And then if you want to, I mean, you can keep giving your puff ball a haircut. Make sure that it looks nice. Awesome. So then we have to make another one, which I have made already. So I have one extra here. So I'll show you again on this other strand here. We want to do the same exact thing. So take your yarn needle, yarn your needle with this one strand that's on the pom-pom, and then weave it through these 2 chains. 2 chains. right here and right here at the bottom of your bow. Okay, pull that tight. Grab the other strand that's attached to the pom-pom and the one we just wove through those chains and tie those two in a knot. Okay, and then take both of these strands and the third strand that is extra long that's attached to the bow. Okay, kind of measure the strands that are in the pom-pom and cut these short so that they are hidden in the pom-pom. And there it is! How fabulous are those? I love it! So now I just have to let you know to rewind this whole video and make one exactly like this so that you have two of them. I made one, but I have to sew down my bow here, and then you can fold this inside and you have two lovely boot cuffs. So there it is. Thank you so much for watching and learning how to make these. I hope you can make these and be super fashionable this holiday season in the snow. Have so much fun. I wish you happy holidays. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy hooking!